would you give us like a ballpark? Like how much were you walking away from that comfortable job?
Definitely more than 6 figures.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people who talk about leaving their jobs. Very few actually do. Suren did. He walked away from a comfortable corporate life to build something uncertain. In a digital age obsessed with screens, speed, and algorithms, he chose to build a board game. So we sat down, not to sell a dream, but to talk about the costs of choosing a different path and what really happens after you take that first step.
Thank you for meeting me today, man.
No problem, man.
I think I'm just gonna jump straight into it, man.
Okay.
Like, let's start from the beginning. Like,
Okay.
what made you actually like walk away from a comfortable job to pursue something on your own?
It's going to be a long answer, so be prepared. I think there are a few aspects to it. I was working in a bank once a long time ago, and I had actually left that bank to move to an airport. You can guess which airport it is.
Wow, yeah.
And then, life happens, and my dad actually got diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
So he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And when he got diagnosed with cancer, I basically gave up that job just so I could spend more time with him, right? Because we didn't know how many years or months or weeks we have. So luckily we got more than a year together with him. And in that year, because I was suddenly not earning any income, I had to figure out like how to get money, right? Because it was very jarring for me to go from a bank salary to no salary at all. And then I was like, I don't know what to do. So I had to really hustle a lot. It just so happened that I got a lot of freelance jobs and I started hustling. And by the end of it, I was actually earning more than I was at the bank, even after accounting for bonuses and stuff. But I was just so tired because, everything is time-based. I can only get paid when I do the work. So I take on as many jobs as I can to get paid, and then while my salary is there, I just don't have time to do anything else. And I thought that this is not a way to live. But I had that itch that I wanted to start my own business, but I felt that the business will have to be something which will allow me to get paid even while I'm not working full-time. So I think that was the first consideration. So it just so happened someone asked me to join a startup. I found the job super interesting. I myself want to have my own business, so I thought being in a startup is the best way to actually learn of really the ups and downs of being in a small business. So I said, let's just go for it. So I went for it. During that time also was when ChatGPT launched.
Oh, yeah,
And
yes.
when ChatGPT launched, I just felt that a lot of my skills in marketing, they're going to be gone down the years. So I'm like, man, this is a big problem, because what happens 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, maybe my job won't be replaced now, maybe it'll be replaced further down the line. I just felt that I needed to do something to future-proof myself. And in my head, it was a physical product. But I had no idea what type of physical product it was and things like that. So all these circumstances kind of made me already thinking about kind of the type of business I want to run, something that you can get paid by selling things without you actually using your time to physically be there.
Yeah.
Also to future-proof myself, against AI and some of these things. So that was it. And then suddenly I had this idea. One day I woke up in the morning, I had this idea for a board game, which actually was a very different game from what I am doing now. The initial idea was a game called East Coast Plan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's very different from
Yeah.
what this thing. And then I called one of my friends who used to be my intern a long time ago. She plays a lot of games. We spoke. We said, let's do it. So we formed a company. We started creating the game. We realized we have no interest in politics. So we said, at that time, I think I'm a lot more interested in politics now. And then we said, let's create some other game. And that's kind of where the whole process of creating a business worked. And the idea of creating a game fits with, creating a product that can sell, fits with having a physical product that is future-proof, because AI, at least for the foreseeable future, won't really be able to create very fresh physical products, especially things like board games and things like that. So that was the thing. And we worked on it in our free time and during, after work, during weekends and stuff. until it reached a point where we started to get a lot of feedback from the market, and it was all very positive. And then we said, you know what? I think now's the time. If we want to see this go where we want to go, we have to do it full time.
Yeah.
And with this intention, I had already been saving as much as I could, knowing that I would need funds to take this business to where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And when I felt ready that, okay, we have the funds now, the ideas progressed that if we don't do it full time, it can't go much further.
Yeah.
Now is the time. And that was the time I resigned basically and went full time into it.
Going back to where you left your full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the viewers, I mean, I'm sure they are curious.
Yeah.
Just to know how much we are talking about, like how much you are walking away
Yeah.
from. Would you give us like a ballpark, like how much were you walking away from that comfortable job in terms of like your annual income?
Annual, definitely more than 6 figures.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess we can. I guess we can leave it there.
Okay.
I guess we can leave it there without going into specifics.
So,
Yeah.
leaving a six-figure income job, like
Yeah.
I think let's talk about the people around you.
Yeah.
When you made the decision to leave this very comfortable income
Yeah.
to start your own, I'm sure there's a lot of uncertainties around there. But
Yeah.
how did they react when you actually announced that you were going to leave this job or this
Okay.
path?
Okay. So I think there were 2 reactions. One is the initial reaction like, huh? And then the second reaction is, okay. You seem to have thought about it and you kind of have a plan
Right.
and stuff like that. So I mean, I've been very blessed because I think everyone I know has been very supportive. So at least the close people that I know have been supportive. My wife was, she's been involved with helping me design the game and the ideation all from the start, and she herself felt that it's something that she thinks we can make work and stuff. So she said, with all good wishes, you go and do it and try it, and we see a few years from now how things go, and then we can decide. If it really doesn't go well after 2-3 years down the line, then we can cut our losses and and then decide what to do next from there. So that was one. My dad, before he passed, was also super supportive. From day one, he's like, you should do your own business. That's the path to financial freedom. And it may take you a few tries to actually get it right. So your first product or first business actually won't be a success. So I'm a bit more realist like that. And then my mom, my brother, everyone is like, just do it lah. Just go and try, give it your best, and then see where it goes.
Is this more of like you have thought about it and let's say if it doesn't work, you have a backup plan, or was it like a full leap into the unknown?
No, so as I said, I had already planned funds for
Alright.
for this, at least for the product launch and
Yeah.
things like that. As well, the day-to-day expenses, a bit of savings and stuff like that. But also, it is a leap into the unknown, right? So, for example, I've now been doing this for about 1.5 years without a job, without getting paid, rather. I mean, it's my own job, so this thing. 1.5 years and still no income coming in from the business because we haven't launched our product yet, which is actually launching in the next couple of months. Although the feedback has been very positive so far whenever we've exhibited or play tested the game. So it is a journey. So at the start, we had set ourselves for me to do this for at least 2.5 years and then take stock. Okay, after 2.5 years, do we see if we spend another year or 2 years, we can actually take this to a lot of heights? Or is it at least breaking even? So the goal is that we at least break even within 2.5 years. And then from there, whether we would be able to scale. I think we would get a sense of whether we would be able to scale by then. Yeah, so that's it's always a tough balance because
Okay.
you keep remembering every month you used to get like income coming in.
I know, right?
And now suddenly you're like, oh. So every month my wife and I do we do our finances calculation,
yeah.
right? Like we see. Okay, how's our financial position now? Have we been spending too much in the last month or less and stuff? So basically, every month it's just my wife contributing now, and then I just see my number going down and down and down and down. I'm just like, okay.
And how long has this been? It's about
About 1.5 years.
1.5
now,
years
yeah.
in. Wow.
July last year, June or July last year. Yeah.
We're just going to go into your board game in a
Okay,
second.
yep.
But before that, I think a lot of my viewers are curious about entrepreneurship. I mean, like it has been a buzzword, like a lingo for a very long time. Entrepreneurship. People are are leaving their full-time jobs to go into entrepreneurship and
Yeah.
everything, right? Like being an entrepreneur, like usually when someone says that word, the first thing that comes to their mind is freedom, freedom
Yes.
of time,
Yeah, yeah.
freedom of money, freedom of creativity. What is it really like for you?
So I think whenever people say entrepreneurship and freedom and equal the two together, for me it's more a goal. Like the goal of entrepreneurship is to have that freedom at the end of the day,
Yeah.
this thing. But actually what people don't see is that there's actually a very long journey to get there. Yes, there may be a few products that can get you there faster or slower and stuff like that, but most products, especially for long-term sustainable business, actually take a lot of time to get there. And I would say my life is actually a lot harder than a lot harder than it was before.
Oh, that's the
In
reality of it.
the reality is that it's a lot harder than it is before. Yes, I have more freedom of time, in the sense that I don't have to reach an office by a certain time. Um, I don't have to report to someone and have a daily stand up or have a call at such and such time. So I have a lot more freedom from that aspect. I can work where I want. I don't have to go anywhere. But at the same time, I end up working actually a lot more than I used to before, because I'm always thinking about the business, like what more can we do, what can we try, what can we explore, and that tends to consume you to a certain extent. So you kind of have to balance the two fairly well, and it was something I struggled with, especially in the first 6 months or so, to find that balance. But it's a lot better now.
Okay.
I actually wake up in the morning without touching my phone, which is good. Otherwise, I would just be checking my email right away and then replying and messages and things like that. So it does. So I think that's the first aspect. The second aspect, again, there are different types of businesses, right? For this business, there are only two of us. There's myself and there's my business partner. And there's no reason for us to meet often or talk often.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're designing a game, you'll probably spend a day, spending a full day kind of designing the mechanics, play testing it between yourselves. Then after that, you actually want to test it with other people. So, and the way we split the work is that she handles a lot of the social media and events, and I do a lot of the business part of it, the game design part of it. So there's very little overlap in the work. We do meet at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, and most of the things get covered over there. So for me, I found it a very lonely process at the start.
Even though there was two of you.
Even though there was two of us, but because we're not always meeting or interacting, and there's no
Yeah.
need for us to actually do that,
Yeah.
you realize that actually most of the time is just yourself.
Yeah.
So, it's just yourself. Yes, my wife comes back from work in the evening. We sit and talk about the day. But I miss having people around me and, colleagues around me and things like that. So it was tough the first few months, because you go from a point where every day you're interacting with people and engaging with people. And I'm a bit extroverted also, so I like that engagement.
So that explains why you miss the people around you.
Yeah. And then suddenly you move from, you're at home, you don't see anyone the day, you don't speak anyone the day. And then I think I probably bothered some of my friends and family, because I would just
Right.
call them and say how's everything and just chat with them.
I think your former colleagues could relate to you with
think,
this.
I think they'll be
If
able
they're
to
watching
relate to
this,
me.
you should know.
They'll be able to relate to
Right.
that, yeah.
Okay.
So then I had to fix that. So I decided to take a desk at a co-working space, and that was very good for me, because suddenly you're surrounded by people. Even though I don't really talk to them that
Right.
much, at least I'm surrounded by people and energy and things like that. And I made it a point that at least 2-3 times a week I will go and meet people, like friends and things. Yeah. So that helped a lot.
Just
Between
to
the
keep
two of
yourself
them,
sane.
just to keep myself sane.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
really, it
Yeah.
really is a very important part, especially for me.
Right.
So I think those two probably are the ones. And then again, I'm suddenly doing something where nearly everyone I know is not part of that industry. So I was
Right.
in a finance and banking industry.
Yeah.
Most of my network is over there.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm in a place where I don't know any game designers.
Yes.
I don't know many people who actually play board games. None of my friends do. So, it's you're actually meeting people and they can't really relate to what you're doing. And you can relate to what they're doing, but also you're trying to stay away or step away from that whole corporate the whole corporate work kind of stuff and
Yeah.
all, right? So there's always a bit of mismatch, and I feel sometimes it was hard to have a conversation with some people, or they would be like, oh, so you don't get any income, and then suddenly they kind of look down at you a bit and
Yeah.
stuff. So I think that part is very real, where people don't really understand what you're doing or even why you're doing, and they think that, oh, okay, this guy is like, he's either cracked or there's something wrong with the person and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, most people are generally very supportive, but yeah, you get some of that. So
Okay.
I guess you have to just be prepared for that.
Okay.
That's something that will also happen and come. Yeah.
I think I'm sure the viewers will want to have a glimpse of your day to day. Like, could you describe to us what's a typical day for you like?
Okay. So I think one of the things that I've tried to do is to sleep on time and wake up on time. So I just because my day used to become very haphazard,
Okay.
and I used to like do things whenever I felt like doing it, and I think that's not actually a very productive way of working. So the first few months I used to just wake up, either go for a walk or have something for breakfast, and then if when the mood fell, I would work. So sometimes I would start working at like 8 o'clock,
Wow,
would
that's
work
early.
until
Wow.
work at 8 p.m. and work until like 2 a.m. Sometimes I would wake up with some ideas and just start working right away, but then the rest of the day is not much. So actually, my day today is not too different from a normal corporate job. I will still wake up, try and get a walk or some exercise out, and then probably by 10:30 I would start work, and then have lunch around 12:30, and then keep going until about 5 or 6 o'clock. So the actual work the actual day is not too different from what your day would be, or you know what most people's days would be. Is actually the same. It's just the freedom to choose is a bit different. So I can actually decide, okay, I don't want to work on Wednesday because I've been really working hard the last few days. I don't want to work on Wednesday. The one big difference is that there's no more weekends basically. I'm working every day basically. Of course, weekends because my wife is also free. I work less, but then I would take maybe a Wednesday off or something when I have a bit more time on my hands and stuff.
So is it safe to say that time management is very crucial?
It's very important because if you don't do the work, your business doesn't move forward.
Right.
And it's just two of us, right? So, and because we've split a lot of the work,
Right.
if I don't know my part, then we don't move. If she doesn't do her part, we don't move forward. We're
Right.
kind of stuck where we are. So at the end of the day, the business can only move as fast as you guys want it to. But also, I think it's also dangerous if you move too fast, because you reach places where you may not be ready to deal with some of the things that happen. Like I feel if our game had launched 1 year early, the amount of knowledge that we would have about the industry would probably have led us to failure.
Yeah.
But it takes time to gain that knowledge and understanding of the industry. And now I feel when we launch, we have a much higher chance of success than we would have had, a year ago or
Right.
half a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the part where you say it's a lot harder when you jumped into entrepreneurship than
Yeah.
working full time.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you will say that it's hard for you?
Okay. I think the number one hardest thing is you're figuring out everything for yourself. Everything. So the finances, how to do your reporting, your tax reporting, what forms you have to do, everything you're doing it yourself, right? You are setting up all the bank system yourself. Because we are board game, we actually do manufacturing overseas. You must understand how the entire manufacturing process works while creating your game, because even the colors that you use in the cards and stuff, they print a certain way and it's in a certain color. So you must understand that entire process that you do. Then it's actually the game design, which is something I've never really done before, right? So there's a lot of elements that you're learning everything for the first time. How to build a website, how to run your ads. Really, there's the amount of learning you do is insane. I tell you. And every day is a learning experience because every day you have to learn something new or figure out something new that you probably have not done before.
Right.
So they always say the first game is the hardest. But I can already see that the second game, the first game has taken us kind of 3 years to put together. I think the second game will probably take us a year or less because we understand a lot of the process
Right.
better. We'll avoid making the mistakes that we made before.
Right. Oh, so you said the first game has been 3 years So it means you started this
Nearly
when
3
you
years.
were working full time.
Yes, nearly
Oh,
3
wow.
years in the making.
Okay,
Nearly
okay,
3 years
okay.
in the making. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, a long time.
Yeah. So you were saying that it's just you and your partner, business
Yes.
partner, right?
Yeah.
Is there like okay, it's because that you're working together.
Yeah.
How do you guys like divide the workload, or do you ever feel that you put in more effort into
Yeah.
building this business than the other person, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Is there a point in time
Yeah.
where you guys
So,
felt that way?
so I think that's a very dangerous way of thinking,
Yeah.
because the moment you start thinking that way, you're going down a route of having some sort of animosity, or looking at every single thing that happens as, oh, you put in a bit more, you put in a bit less. And I think that applies to any relationship. So even if I start doing with my wife, and I start thinking, oh, you help out more than me, I help out I help out more than you, then
Yeah.
that could lead to a lot of conflict and stuff
Yep.
before. So I think for when it comes to work and business, the way I look at it is actually very different.
Right.
And it's something that I've done even in my previous jobs and stuff, where I do the work, or I want to do the work for myself. Because, okay, it may sound a bit weird, because today we're in the world of quiet quitting and
Yeah.
things like that, right? For me, I feel fulfilled when I figure out something, I understand something, I learn something new, I can apply it, and it's successful. So for me to then come and say, oh, okay, I'm working a bit less than my business partner, or she's working a bit less than me, I always feel there's no point doing that, because at the end of the day, I do the work for my own fulfillment, and yes, for the company's betterment, of course.
Yeah.
But for me, that my own fulfillment is more important than a lot of other things.
Sure, yeah.
So even my corporate work, sometimes people are saying like, oh, why do you don't need to do this? They only ask for this. But I want to do something else, because I want that fulfillment of achieving something that I created from scratch and launched, and I came up with the idea myself and did that. So I think just that part alone is kind of why I don't bother so much. Okay, I'm working a little harder, she's working a little harder. This thing, I feel that's a very bad slope to go down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, having going through this for like over 1.5 years,
Yeah.
is there one particular moment where you actually doubted your decision of jumping into doing all of this?
Many, many.
But what was the lowest point?
I think the lowest point was when we actually couldn't get the game to work. So I think there was probably two or three low points. The first one is when we couldn't get the game to work, in the sense that we created a game, but we ourselves did not find it interesting. So we couldn't figure out why that was or what that was, and it took us a long time to actually figure out that interesting component and then make the game interesting. That's something that people really like.
Yeah.
So I think we were going week in, week out, and something about board game testing is that people are very honest with you in the industry.
Yeah.
So, and you can actually see them play the game, and you can see whether they're smiling and laughing or having fun, or whether they're disengaged. And the feedback really comes hard and fast at you, so you cannot, it's like one of the most honest things that you will get is that someone saying, oh, your game is shit, or I didn't like your game at all, or it didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of the lowest points, where we went through many weeks and months of that, and we were not able to crack that part.
Right.
And then we decided, okay, let's just stop and take stock and kind of figure that out. I would say that's probably the lowest point. There have been other couple of low points where we've not been able to figure out the shipping and some of the manufacturing of some games. There was a point where we didn't know whether our games will actually arrive. We had printed a small, about 50 copies of games to give to content creators and influencers and stuff to publish a game and review a game. And we were not sure whether they would arrive in various spaces and stuff. So those are the low points, which thankfully have been touchwood have been a lot less than the high points. The high points have been a lot more as we went along the journey. Yeah.
Let's talk about like some external factors of your journey. Like, you know what, you left a very comfortable career, a very successful one, to jump into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
At this very point, knowing that you are 1.5 years in, and you're still waiting for your first product to be launched, right?
Yeah.
Is there like a point where, when you look at your other peers who is climbing the ladder of the corporate world, do you ever feel like, you are being left behind in a way?
No.
Do you feel intimidated?
No, I don't feel that at all. Actually, I mean I feel comparison is the root of all evil.
Right.
Which is also why I don't like to compare. Oh, I did a bit more work than my partner versus that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a very dangerous route to go down on this thing. The way I see it is that I'm learning a very different skill set,
Right.
and as long as I am happy with what I'm learning and what I'm doing, I don't see any need to compare with others. Even if I was not, then I would feel there's no need to compare. Like I think, we don't know what direction the business will go in, right? It could be. I think the chances of it being a success and making it sustainable are probably higher than it not being a success, but it could very well not be a success, right? We have to be realistic. It's our first product. It could go either way in that sense. So while we're doing what we can to do that, and so I think if it doesn't work, and then I decide, okay, fine, you know what, let's close the business, and then I go back to a job. I know that the skills I have learned during this time are something I would not have been able to learn, and the experience I learned, I would not have got in any corporate job. And just for that, I feel this journey has been worth it. Whatever happens in the future, just for that is really, it's like you can't even describe it. It's just all the pain and hardship you've gone through. But every time you overcome something, you're like, wow, I could do that. And I was just telling one of my colleagues, my business partner, over the weekend we exhibited at the Asian Board Game Festival.
Right.
1 year ago, we had visited the previous Asian Board Game Festival as a spectator, just to kind of see what it is.
Okay.
But now we actually have 2 booths, and each of the booth is packed. Like there's always a queue of people waiting. So you can see just in that one scene, there's progress from last year. We just went to explore. We did not even have a prototype of the game or anything. 1 year down the road, we have a near finished product. We have a booth. We have a queue of people waiting to play the game. Very good feedback from them. So you just look at that snapshot and you can see the progress that you've gone, which actually on a day-to-day basis you don't see. So it's important sometimes just to step back and think of the more tangible progress that you can see over a longer period of time.
So do you frequent the place around your neighborhood like this?
Yeah. We actually do most of our shopping along this stretch actually. The fruits, the vegetables, all the hardware and stuff over here.
So do you just take a walk around this neighborhood just for inspiration or
Yeah, so actually there's 2 places. There's one over here and there's one behind my house, which actually ends up in a park area. So we like going there also because you get a bit of greenery and you can see outside.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's also quite important, where you get a bit of space. But here sometimes you just need to go out and not think of anything, and the whole hustle of walking in between people and all is something that is something that kind of distracts your brain from doing other things. So I feel that's quite important also.
I think this is the time where we will go into the board game that you have been building on and working on, and I'm sure that everyone is curious what this board game is. So you want to give a bit of introduction?
Yeah, sure. So the game is called Burnout. It's actually a game about modern workplace culture and mental health. So in the game, you're all employees in the workplace and you're actually competing for a promotion. To get the promotion, you have to get the highest reputation. The reason we use reputation is because in the real world, in most companies, the KPIs actually matter a lot less than whether you're seen and heard, which is why we use reputation. But at the same time, just like in real life, you're actually managing your mental health and trying to balance the 2 so that you don't burn out.
Oh, so this is one of the first time I'm hearing this concept of burnout in a board game though.
Yeah.
So I think going back to the board game, we are living in a digital era where everyone is on their screens. Why you decided to build a board game instead of a mobile app?
Okay, so I think that's a good question. And most people ask that actually. So whenever I say I'm creating a board game, they're saying, the first thing they ask is, oh, can I download it? And I'm like, no, I'm creating a physical game, not a digital game. And I think for me, it's very clear, the research about phone use and phone addiction. There's so much research out there showing why it's bad and why it's unhealthy for you to do it for an extended period of time. Board games are one way to connect with each other, where you actually don't even look at your phone. Your phone is away. You're thinking about the game. You're engaging with people, talking to people, and I think that's just beautiful to see. And you watch people play games. Sometimes they will play for hours without actually using their phone, and I think that we just like that feeling of connection that's there. And it's also something new to me because even before I created this game, I actually did not play much board games, and I actually. When we decided to create the game, we said we better play to know what games are out there and meet people in the industry and things like that. And we started doing that. And I feel I've got so many relationships in a short span of time with people. And I think a lot of that is through us being able to connect without a phone and actually form those relationships while playing games and while engaging with each other.
I never got a chance to ask you this actually. Like, what was the whole motivation behind a board game? Like knowing that you have never really been into board games and everything. So what was the whole motivation?
So as I said, I just woke up one day with a name for a game, and that name was East Coast Plan. And then I decided actually I didn't want to create that game because I was not so interested in politics. But then after you read about what it takes to create a game and the process behind it, I just felt very intrigued and sold that actually this is something I want to do. And then we just went and did it. So it just happened like that this is something we want to do. So I literally went from one day having no interest in or not really playing or being so interested in games to having an idea, and then within probably a span of a week being super interested to see what's popular, what are the different types of games like, what are the mechanics like, and then just playing as much as we can to learn about the different types of games and understand that.
Would you say this whole this Burnout board game was it's based on your experience?
Okay, so yes and no. I mean, I do think. Okay, so when we decided not to do the political game, what happened was we just threw out different ideas of games that we could create, and we said let's give it a few months to actually let those ideas kind of permeate and gain root in your brain, and then over time you can kind of settle on one. And then we realized that everyone we spoke with, they talk about their boss, their colleague, their company, some policy, some this, some that. And we're like, actually, you know what? Nearly every day people are talking about this, about their workplace or their work culture and stuff. Let's create a game around that. And that's when we decided, okay, you know what? This is the game. I think we ourselves find the game very meaningful. We ourselves have had our challenges with workplaces. They've been both good times and bad times, just like in your life, right? You'll have good times and bad times and stuff. And I do think I've been burnt out twice, properly burnt out twice. The definition is hard to figure out exactly if you've, without clinical kind of someone saying that, a doctor saying you've actually burnt out. The definition is a bit loose to your own interpretation, and a lot of people use it loosely, but I think I've been properly burnt out probably twice in my life. So the game was meaningful to both myself and my business partner, who herself has gone through her own challenges at work. And we just felt it's a game that, hopefully people will start talking about this topic, which is a bit taboo. So I remember when I was burnt out the first time, it was when I just started managing a team. I think that was probably 2 or 3 years into my career in my first job. And I found that, I was taking on so much work on myself because the things were not as I intended it to be, either I'm not giving clear instructions, or so I would just end up doing a lot of duplication of work and redoing some of the work that my team used to do. And I didn't really want to talk about it because I thought if I tell my boss about it, she's the owner of the company, she may think that I am not able to manage the team, and then she may either remove those responsibilities from me or and I just kept it to myself until I almost cracked, and then she had to step in and say, what the hell's going on? And then we talked, and she said, no, if you need help on how to manage, you're doing it for the first time, let me give you tips. And then she helped me out through that.
Right.
So the reason I didn't talk about it was because I felt that it would make me look weak, or that I'm not qualified to do this job. And I feel that's something that I should be ashamed of, that that I could have asked for help, but I chose not to. And I feel it's because talking about your mental health or burnout at work is a taboo topic.
It is.
And
sensitive.
even talking about the challenges of work. So one of the reasons why we felt this it's nice to create this game is, and why we decided to make it as a fun game rather than educational game is just to get people talking about it. Right. And I think so far we've achieved that. Yeah.
Is it more of like normalizing to talk about
exactly?
mental health,
So we
right?
want to normalize conversations around mental health at work. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I mean, like, I really find it intriguing. Like, usually when someone who lives like the corporate life to pursue something of their passion, it's somehow a bit relatable to what they are doing. But for yours, it's like a bit unconventional, like from the corporate banking life as a marketeer and then into
different.
a board game. Like it's I just have a lot of questions like how do you do it and everything.
Yeah.
So, has anyone actually told you that it's not gonna work?
Yeah.
In a day of ChatGPT or AI board games, is it gonna work?
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people have said that. I feel number one, a lot of people say, why a board game? Because everything is digital now, and they think the market is not big or not, sufficient enough for us to actually create a business out of it. But that's not true. Actually, the board gaming industry globally has been expanding non-stop for the last 15 years or so. And that's because people are looking for more face-to-face connections and things that they can do analog versus being digital. So I think that trend will continue going. A lot of people, when I tell them for the first time I'm doing board games, they're like, board games? And they make that face that, you know that they're thinking that, okay, why or are you sure about this kind of thing? But it's just something I have to get used to, that people will have that reaction. Most people also won't know the industry and the things that happen in the industry, how it works, how the math works and stuff, as I will, because I'm actually in the industry now, and a lot of my network is not. So it's just something we have to accept. And then people will say, are you sure? People will say, are you sure you want to do that? Or and we have also had people come and say, don't waste your time with that, you come and work with me instead. So these things happen, but you just have to deal with it and get used to it, and in a way ignore it to a certain extent.
Is it more of like the whole the concept of the nature of the business, or is it the product itself? What was it what they were
I think
saying?
It's more the industry. They're like, I think they're questioning why I would go into board gaming, as an industry rather, or tabletop gaming as an industry rather than continuing my career from where it was.
Would you say that, is it because due to the pandemic where we were all in isolation for a bit, when things starts to open up, people are traveling again, people are meeting with each other again, the board games are picking up, the demand is there again because people just want to connect, just want to be around with people. Do you feel?
It started way before the pandemic actually. The pandemic helped accelerate some of it because people are stuck at home. They actually buy a lot of board games to play and connect with their families and or their roommates who they're staying with, or their partners who they're staying with.
Do you think will it be different if you started this like pre-pandemic versus now?
No.
It won't be different?
No. In fact, in a way it's harder now because now you have tariffs and the price of a lot of the manufacturing goods have gone up. So actually things are a bit more expensive, and the global economy is also not doing well, right? So actually it is a bit harder to sell now than it was even 5-6 years ago. So that's something that's a very real challenge today. And there have been, as we see over here, we see F&B outlets closing, we see shops closing. Even in the board gaming space, there have been board gaming companies who are closing globally. So it is a real challenge now. I would say 5-6 years ago, we were almost in a boom space for the board gaming space where the market is increasing year on year, and the pandemic helped accelerate some of that, while also making costs a lot more expensive during that time. And now you have the tariffs, and the US will always be one of the largest markets for board games globally.
Okay, so I think this is where most of the viewers will want to know.
Okay.
Building the mechanics of a board game.
Yeah.
I mean, would you share like a little bit of your insights, like how is it like the process of building a board game? What are the steps that you require? And the part where you encounter like a conflict, like, no, it's not going to work. How do you overcome that? So like...
Okay. So it is a very tedious process. And there's actually quite a bit of math involved because you're trying to make a game where there's no one clear strategy to win. People can have different ways of winning. But we're also trying to make a game where it's interesting enough that people will play again. And a game where, is not like one person is way ahead and the person stays ahead through the entire game and there's no way, it's not competitive or close.
Yeah.
So I think those are some things to know. So people start, essentially there are two ways you can start creating a game. You can either choose a mechanic and create a game around a mechanic, a theme around that mechanic. Or you can think of the theme first and then think of mechanics that then apply within the theme. So I'm a theme guy, so I always think of the theme first, and our theme was corporate workplace, mental health. We wanted to make it as realistic as possible. So actually in the game, you can also take leave. In a game, you have defense cards, but the defense cards are actually limited because in the workplace, you cannot keep saying no, to your bosses and stuff like that. So we're trying to bring in a lot of these more real life mechanics into the game. The process took a long time actually. So it actually took us about 8 months to figure out the mechanics because the first, 25 versions of the game just didn't feel right at all. There was something missing. And then it was when we added the mental health aspect into the game, that's when everything clicked. And that's when we knew that, okay, now, this is going to work. Yeah, because when that was missing, it was just like about finishing projects and stuff like that, right? When we added the mental health aspect, the game suddenly became real. Like, okay, these are the real challenges you face at work.
Right.
You're trying to get a promotion or you're trying to do well at work, but also managing your mental health and keeping yourself afloat.
Did you ever use ChatGPT for your game?
Yes, I mean, we do for small parts of it.
Right.
So for the rule book, to clarify the rule book and improve some of the writing for the rule book, we do that. Some of the cards, the flavor text or the effect, and then ChatGPT is just a tool for spell check, basically.
Awesome.
So we just put in all our files. We say, please give us the spell check of everything, and then we'll know what works and what doesn't work. Yeah.
You mentioned that building this board game is more of a connection between the people around you, and so what does this connection means to you in this context?
Yeah. So I think connection for me is, very important. My growing up, me and my brother were and still are very, very close. Our parents always enforced that we would sit together during meals. We were a very well-connected family, not just family, but also a lot of the extended family. And I think that's something that made my upbringing, I guess, special in a way. And that's something that I think is important for, at least in the board gaming space, that you want to kind of bring that same connection to people. And we see that at exhibitions where sometimes you get 4 or 5 people sitting down who haven't met each other at all, and they're connecting over a game, and then they start exchanging stories and talking about their workplace and stuff. So that's like a special thing to see because you're seeing a relationship form from the scratch in front of you. Yeah.
Interestingly here,
yeah,
there's where we are here right now, right? There's like this group of the elderlies who is playing like Chinese chess.
Yeah.
So we're here to check it out.
Okay.
So like, since we're talking about board games, right?
Yes.
I just want to show you this actually. Yeah, I'm not sure you're familiar with this.
I walked by once or twice, but I never really paid attention to it. So it's really cool actually.
Right, to see it.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. I think what I find it interesting is that this the whole setup. They just stack 2 boxes.
Yeah.
They put the board out there.
Bring some chairs, whatever they can find in the area.
And then you go, you have it.
And we saw that the chairs are actually kept permanently on one side.
Yeah. I mean, it's how to say, like, it's nice to see that they allow this. I'm not sure if it's legalized or formalized, but they're allowed to play this and no one is asking them to go away or like tear down this thing. Or like.
Yeah, and in fact, they also, earlier there were a few casual observers that we saw just watching them play.
Correct.
It's really cool actually.
Yeah.
A subculture that I didn't really know about actually, and it's just in my backyard also.
Correct. I mean, looking at this, would you say this is one of your... Are you more inspired to build more games?
Definitely, yeah.
Looking at this.
We already have game number 2, 3 and 4, which we are testing now. we'll see how the tests go, and then we'll decide which one to release next or which one to prioritize next. But and each one is very different from each other, so I think that's the interesting part.
Oh, meaning like it's different from the Burnout concept?
Yes, yeah. So each game is actually a bit different. One is a party game, one is a lot more strategic. So we're also trying to expand our skill sets by creating different types of games and for different types of audiences.
Interesting. So would you say that you will end up being like a board game company?
Yeah, we are a board game publisher now.
Awesome.
So we just haven't published our first game. That's very soon, but yeah, essentially we're a board game publisher now. That's
awesome.
My life now.
Yeah. Okay, having 1.5 years into doing this thing.
Yep.
What is that one thing that keeps you going when no one's watching?
I think at the start it was the excitement for the product that we're building, or the game that we're building. Now it's the excitement for actually launching that product. It's like the feeling that you're so close. It's just like you're nearly there. It's just a few more things to get there, but it's just the excitement of pressing that button and then knowing that your campaign has been launched and stuff. So that's the thing, just pushing us now. At some points we are on fumes, but we are still pushing ourselves just to get there.
Right. So when is it launching again?
It is actually launching sometime in Q1. We're just seeing the final time, whether it's like either 15 Jan or we'll do it just at the end of Chinese New Year.
Right.
So we're just kind of looking at the two timings and deciding which one is the better time to launch the game. Okay,
so how can we access to this game?
Okay, so when I say launch, we're actually launching it on Kickstarter. Kickstarter's a crowdfunding platform. So what happens is, if you want to purchase the game, you are pre-ordering the game on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And then we will use the funds to manufacture the game. And then after we manufacture the game, we will ship it out to you wherever you are in the world.
Okay. So will you provide like a link for them to?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the video.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, thanks, man.
Do you ever miss the stability you once had?
Yeah, sometimes, especially at the low points I was mentioning. Sometimes I'm like, should I just look for a job, or should I just go back, put some calls or contacts? But I think part of the journey is to actually go through those low points and come out of them stronger. So I'm glad I didn't do that. The feeling of going back to corporate is become a lot less now compared to earlier. So while I do miss it, it's a lot less now. Yeah.
Right. So for someone who wants to go into this entrepreneurship journey, what is that one thing would you want to share with them?
So I think probably the most important thing is to have some sort of plan. Don't go in blind, like saying, okay, I'm just going to do this and the money will come. Do some research, understand exactly what it takes. And I would say actually just get started first. Start something in your free time, on the weekends, whatever you can do. And then over time you build from there. When you feel you can start seeing it's moving in a direction, or when you feel that if you do it full time, it can move in this specific direction in the next few months or weeks, that's when you jump in. And that's when you quit. Also, making sure you have emergency funds and all the due diligence that you need to just to survive, right? Just making sure those are under control. But I would say just plan properly and know what you're getting into before you go there. That's important.
If you have one thing to say to your corporate self back in the day, what is that one thing you will say to him?
I would say just try. Just try things. Like you have an idea, just go ahead and try it. Don't be scared. It may work, it may not work, but you'll be better for just trying. And I think that's probably the most important thing. Don't leave anything on the table. Just have an idea, just go for it and try it.
Do you think that you 10 years ago will take the leap of faith?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was too comfortable. I've always felt that I could do my own business or run my own business, but I was too comfortable, and I could not imagine a life without salary. If I was not forced to, when my dad fell ill, I would not have known that it was even possible. So
things would have been different.
Things would have been different. I would have just continued working and never actually had the balls to take the step forward. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Anyways, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
for sharing this with me.
Yeah.
Anyways, can I get my camera?
Yes, you can.
Success isn't always louder on the other side. Sometimes it's quieter, heavier, and far less certain than people imagine. Suren didn't leave his job for freedom or guarantees. He left to build something he believed in, knowing the cost. And maybe that's the part we don't talk about enough. Not the leap, but everything that comes after.